Welcome to Build of the Week. I'm Bex from Grinding Gear Games. Have you ever wanted to be an attack helicopter in Path of Exile? Well, now you can, with the SpelliCopter. With this week's build, you spin your mouse wheel to rapidly swap weapons, dealing damage to yourself and automatically casting spells as you glide gracefully through maps. What? How? To achieve this miraculous feat, the build takes advantage of a combination of interesting mechanics and unique item quirks. At the heart of the build lies the Cast When Damage Taken support gem. This gem triggers supported spells whenever you have taken a certain amount of damage. You don't want to let monsters wail on you, so you deal this damage yourself using 2 copies of the Heartbound Loop unique ring. These rings each deal physical damage to you whenever one of your minions dies. Rather than standing there summoning minions like a dummy, spend all of your currency to get 4 one-handed weapons crafted with Essence of Insanity. Weapons crafted this way create 3 spectral spirit minions each as soon as they're equipped. When you swap to your second weapon set, they all die, dealing yourself damage and triggering your spells. 4 Essence of Insanity weapons lets you achieve this with every weapon swap. The Juggernaut Ascendancy Notable Unbreakable reduces the damage you take. It also refunds a portion of the damage you've prevented in the last 10 seconds as life regeneration. So now you have to find a way to prevent more damage than you take. In fact, you'll need to prevent about 90% of the damage you take. With 4 endurance charges generated from the Juggernaut Ascendancy made more potent via the Juggernaut's Unrelenting Notable and the Soul of Gruthgul Pantheon power, you'll need a minimum of 13,000 armor. No problem. The easiest way to get this is with the unique body armor, the Brass Dome. Thanks to the Unbreakable Ascendancy, this item alone will give you up to 11,000 armor. However, this character is just using a combination of a very good rare body armor and determination. Naturally, you'll also need a very expensive Watcher's Eye jewel, the one that increases your life recovery rate while affected by vitality. Other gear slots will have to focus on life and resistances to keep your SpelliCopter from crashing and burning. On the passive tree, focus on life regeneration, skill effect duration, area of effect to increase the radius of your rotors, jewel sockets, and whatever it is that makes your triggered spells deal the most damage. When all the pieces are finally in place, all you have to do is weapon swap, over and over and over again. Once you've spun up to speed, you can glide and slice through monsters like the beautiful work of engineering you are, until you get kicked from the server for performing too many actions. Shit. We strongly suggest playing this build in lockstep, and only if you've got a fast connection. And unless you want a repetitive strain injury, you will need to rebind your weapon swap to your mouse wheel. And even then, you'll probably want to play alone. No one could possibly compete with your elegance anyway. These are all of the unique items you'll want for this build in order of importance and how difficult it might be to find them or buy them from other players. These are the gems you'll need. These should be very simple to acquire. If you're interested, here are the microtransactions the character in this episode is wearing. For more in-depth information about this week's build, you can find a link to the guide in the description of this video. If you'd like to submit a build for next week's episode, just post a build guide in the class forums on pathofexile.com. Thanks for watching and see you next time!